3 hours in.
Fuck, I've done that before. I drove up from the Gold Coast.
Do you want to just turn mine down just a touch?
Welcome back to another episode of the Men at Camp Project podcast. I'm your host, Lockie Stewart. Today I actually got an awesome message from a couple in California who just had a baby. And they said every time they're up at all hours of the night, they're listening to the podcast. So that's cool to hear. But today's guest is, I was thinking about how I was going to introduce her. I was like, do I quit my brother-in-law or is that jumping the gun? But you got the same last name as Amy. So, Liam.
It works.
It works. Great to have you on here, mate. So, for everyone listening, Liam and I met 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
3? Oh, no.
3 years ago.
August. 3 in August.
He was bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and had just moved up from Melbourne, which was awesome, and came into the functional gym, and I was actually doing a consult with you.
Yeah.
Did your first fitness program. That's why for those who are watching YouTube, rig.
What did you do wrong?
yeah. I'm getting out of it. No, I'm kidding. But mate, great to have you. Awesome. I know you've got so much to learn. I know in this conversation we'll be talking about obviously just taking action to move out of your comfort zone. You've lived overseas. You've done some cool shit, some crazy stuff, and obviously now as well you're highly educated in the cryptocurrency space, the financial space, so we'll see where this conversation goes, but I think for the gentleman listening, it's definitely an area you need to get educated on, just so you can learn different perspectives on how you can create a bit more financial freedom in your life, because it's, you know, financial stress is something that nails a lot of people and diminishes our quality of life. So yeah.
Yeah, not your typical education from, not financial education anyway.
No.
It's more YouTube podcast based, not university.
Yeah. Give people a bit of a backstory anyway. So, where you grew up, how you ended up in, you know, what made you come to Brisbane out of everywhere else you could have been?
Good question. I from Warrnambool in Victoria, about 3 hours from Melbourne.
It's a little surfy town, right? A little beach town, cold
Yeah.
beach town.
Very cold. Terrible winters. 9 months of the year, maybe more.
It's the world's longest winter.
Yeah, it's terrible. Wow. We get further south. But yeah, I left school in year 11, started a carpentry apprenticeship. I did that for, I think it was 3 years, my apprenticeship. Got out of there, went overseas for 3 months.
Where'd you go?
Just to America.
Yeah.
Travelled through, caught up with a few friends in different areas and just sort of made my way between the lot, got up into Canada. And then, what did I do after that? Came back and went to real estate. Hated building.
You're forgetting you did real estate.
Hated building from day one.
What did you hate about it?
Just mind-numbingly boring, I think. And I'm still in it today.
Yeah. Oh mate, I was the same as you. Plus it was just a toxic environment.
Yeah.
But fuck. To be fair, it's actually fun when you're working on something for yourself.
Yeah.
Like, and it is one of those industries where you get to see the before and the after, like, and just like a bit of makes you feel proud.
There's a lot of progress.
Yeah.
Each day you can see a change from when you got there.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, if not, you're a lazy bastard.
Yeah. So I didn't really like that sort of, I don't know, toxic masculinity side, plus the cold. the cold's going to be a very big part of this, of me hating yeah, so then I did that for 12 months or so. It's going quite well, and then a couple of building jobs came up and I just thought I needed to change, so I went back to building and stuck at that for, well, until now, I suppose. That was 2012, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I left real estate. So.
Did you learn much from real estate?
Yeah, I felt more confident talking to people.
Yeah.
I think that was probably the biggest thing about it.
Just door knocking and stuff.
The door knocking bit was intimidating at the start.
It's scary as shit.
Yeah.
I still hate it. Like, you get used to it, but still every knock, like, who's gonna be there?
I reckon day one was the worst, and then after that, I sort of liked it. I think it was sort of
bit of a thrill,
bit of a challenge.
Yeah.
Just seeing what you're gonna get, and then how you react to each person, and you get some good ones. try to throw shit at you and
Some doozies, eh?
yeah. And, yeah, sort of most winters, again, I hate the cold, but yeah, most winters I would leave Warrnambool, head overseas, or yeah, mostly overseas to Asia, back to America, Europe. It's been about 18 months away at one point, just not wanting
To come back.
to be in Warrnambool, probably. It's probably one of the main reasons. I yeah, travelled through Central America, up into Canada, into the US, bought a car, drove to the US for 3 months, 89 days. Got a visa for 90, and I left with less than 24 hours to spare.
Maximised it then, that's for sure.
I did. And the one time I did like the cold, I went up there for the snow season. That was 2015, Christmas 2015. Spent the winter up there. Came back, went back to work in Warrnambool for a bit more. Thought that was me going over there. Thought, yeah, things are going to change when I get back. Going to move somewhere, and just fell back into the routine of Warrnambool. Easy. had a room at the folks' place, and I was like, oh well, it's here. I don't need to worry about too much. Got a job I could walk straight back into. Actually, I bought a house in the last couple of weeks of me being away, and that was probably the main reason I went back. A house that was $165,000 from memory. Had been empty for 3 years. Squatters living in it. Like absolute.
Did you allow them to stay there or did you kick them out?
I think they must have got kicked out before we bought it.
Yeah.
But it was like gross.
So you didn't even check it out?
I saw a couple of photos online, and I bought it with a mate who I trusted quite well.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a first house pretty much. I bought one from parents when I was 19.
Yeah.
So I went through that one and
Yeah.
had done some renovations on that, and this one is like it's shit, but we can make some money out of this.
Yeah.
So trusted him and went halves with him, bought that and did that up over that winter actually when I got home. So I got back in April. So
Then spent time. Did you hold it or sold it?
still got it.
Hold it.
Still got it now. Putting a subdivision in at the moment to
Yep.
put
An
a
application
townhouse in the
for it.
back.
Yeah, sick.
Yeah, so that's probably going through. Hopefully, start building before the end of the year.
And what are you doing to it with the town? Just as how big?
3-bedroom, 2-bath, double garage, sort of 2-story thing.
Bloody hell! How big is the block?
It would leave about 450 square meters. So it'd be like just a bit of a courtyard out
Yep.
the back, maybe a bit out the front.
Yep.
It's sort of battle axe, so it's up the driveway down, like the driveway down the side of the house,
Yeah,
around
yeah.
the front one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good old battle axe. I've never heard the old battle axe.
Have you?
No, I'm just thinking of Vikings now.
Yeah. Yeah,
sorry,
she's
Vikings.
yeah, so that's the next thing on the horizon, I suppose. It has been a long time in the making. We did the house up and got it to quite a respectable standard, and
Yep.
rents it out and covers the mortgage.
Yep.
And does all that. Yeah, then move. Where are we? 2016. Wanting to leave really badly. Like, spent a winter at home and I was like, nah, can't do that again. I went over to Asia for 4 or 5 months.
Was this the training camp time?
Yeah. So I flew into Philippines, spent some time through there, went to Sri Lanka, met up with my mum and grandma, came over for a bit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, travelled with them for a week or so. Then went to go to India, and I don't know,
Why India? Just
or in Sri Lanka,
Yeah.
directly north. Thought it'd be interesting. Was going to do like a
spiritual trip or something? Or
yeah, we're going to go up and do some yoga and like some sort of.
ayahuasca?
I don't know if it's very popular up there in the Himalayas,
I don't think it would be.
but yeah, just go up and do a retreat sort of thing there. And I don't know, I think I had enough curry to last a lifetime. That was 3 meals a day for 3 weeks, 4 weeks. I was like, whew, start to sweat
Yeah.
curry, I think. And then yeah, went to Thailand instead. Went to a Muay Thai. It's called Spartan.
Yeah.
Spartan training camp or something. Slight bit of Muay Thai, but mostly like obstacle course training, CrossFit. Yeah.
That'd been so good. That's the dream.
Dropped from 12.5% body fat to 6.2.
Rigged.
Got the six pack out for the first time in forever.
The winter coat's gone.
Yeah, that was a lot of curry that got shredded after that trip, and then managed to keep it off for some time. Not now, but sometime.
We're in winter though.
Back to that 12%. But that was, I could go back and do that.
Oh, I definitely go on that.
That was 6
What'd you
weeks.
do? Yes.
6 weeks, I think. Maybe just under, but yeah.
Because Brad and I did 2 weeks and it was the best fun. Like you literally wake up, eat a nice breakfast, go train, come back, have a sleep, sit by the pool, go train. It's just rinse and repeat. It's so fun.
Yeah, we had a room that was like $14 a night that was right on the water of the pool. Like, we probably had 3 steps from the front door into the pool and 50 metres from the training.
Yeah, see, that's the dream.
Did
you ever need to hire a scooter?
No.
See, I enjoyed my scoot every morning. Like, just when it was cold, it'd wake you up and then you'd get your brekkie burrito and ride back and get pumped up for training.
Yeah, we do the 6 o'clock yoga, eat, train at 8, eat again, train at 10, do a weight session from about 11 till 12, eat another 2 meals and then train again at 4, maybe do a double session then. So
Once the
I was training
ball's open, we've got to do that.
5 or 6 hours a day,
Yeah.
6 weeks. It was incredible. Could not eat enough food. Always hungry.
Did you stay off the piss as well? Or?
Yeah, didn't drink, didn't have any sugar at all. Had one ice cream on the second last night as like a reward.
You dirty bastard.
I know. But I was awake I had it about 6 o'clock and I didn't get to sleep till like 5 a.m.
You don't realise how bad sugar, even though it's still, I've got the biggest sweet tooth. I actually got a Magnum in the freezer now.
Probably worse, I think.
Yeah. But it's just like, you can't be near it. It ruins you.
I felt so good not having it, not having alcohol, not having anything.
You're doing dry June at the moment.
Yeah, 3 days to go.
And then what's the plan? Are you going to blow out or?
Oh yeah.
That's what everyone does.
Nah, I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
I feel like I've lost a bit. I just feel a bit more up and about.
We did yesterday. Liam, when was it? Thursday. He sent me a photo of scotches on sale at
Dan
Murphy's, and I was busy, so I was too busy. And then the girls.
And I was in New South.
Yeah, the girls caught wind of it, so they purchased us some scotches.
Got a gin as well.
And you got a gin.
Yeah.
I think we got a rum as well, but I don't really drink rum. But those there, and we'll definitely have to sample them. But
Next weekend I've got a tasting, I think.
what's next weekend?
The first week of July.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
I'm feeling like I'm 2 weeks down, but I'm really, really tempted to do 12 months. Like, I just want to see how good you can actually feel. Because I know how bad I feel consistently drinking. I don't drink a whole heap either, nor do you. But just to have that compound of no alcohol, waking up feeling fresh, being able to read more, hold on to information better.
Yeah, just
that excites me.
Decision making as well.
Yeah.
You just feel like things are so much more clear.
Yeah. But I do also love a scotch on the rocks, like sitting down.
Yeah.
Or a red wine. You love your red wine.
You have no idea. On Wednesday I moved 15 tons of soil in a wheelbarrow. In the heat, I was sweating it up. Like, it was hot. And 4:30 came along, and this guy that he's making some joinery for the house that I'm renovating. Turned up with a 6-pack of 4X. Soft spot for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's beautiful.
And I managed to say no. I got back on the shovel and did those last few trips in the wheelbarrow. And the other guys are standing there having a beer. I was just like, oh my
just
god.
put it on the back of my neck, just rub the cold can on the back of my neck.
If I'd stopped, I would have had one. But I thought, nah, it's 5 days to go. Let's just
Do it.
get through it.
It's so hard. Like, even when I went to the wedding yesterday, I drove off and got non-alcoholic beer. But you're just standing like, I wouldn't mind just one. Like, but it's always that just one, and you do that 5 days a week.
Yeah.
But yeah, it had negative effects, that's for sure. But anyway, well done on doing dry June.
Yeah. That was, yeah. You're
Then
close.
we
You
got a
had a
bucks.
buck.
Then we got another bucks in. That's what I'm worried about. All the boys, Liam and all that, kicked me out of the group chat, so I have no idea what's going on.
He doesn't want to know, really.
Well, I like being organised, so I hate not knowing.
It's organised. Everything's organised, but
Yeah, but I like being included in the organisation.
you'll have fun. You'll definitely have fun.
Yeah. No alcoholic beers.
Yeah, that's the way we're doing. We're doing dry July as well.
Perfect.
Yeah. Then what was that? I was in Thailand. So we were.
Take us back.
Yeah, back to Thailand.
Segue.
If only.
Yeah.
Get back there. What did I do then? The last week before finishing the house that we're subdividing now, an auction came up around the corner. And I went and had a look and like, oh well, it's got some potential. Should we buy it? Probably going to sell for 170, 180. Like, yeah, like, don't really have any money, but we give it a go. Went to the auction without approved finance. I thought, yeah, we'll get finance for 180,000. No worries. It's what, not even a year's wage each. So it was between two of us.
Yeah.
But got the auction, won it, or bid the highest. Went to get finance, and they're like, no.
Really?
You can't get finance. You haven't worked. You were overseas for 18 months before that, and then now you've been renovating this house and hardly working. How are you gonna? We got no proof that you've made an income. I was like, no, what are we gonna do? Like, we're binding contract. We paid.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we paid 15 grand in deposit or 18 grand in deposit. Oh no, what are we gonna do? We're just gonna blow that 18 grand. It's like stressing. It was the most stressful thing. Like, I was running real low because I'd been paying everything to renovate the house, and ended up knocking on the door of Grandma.
Did you?
And just going,
With some cookies and...
yeah, well, it was very much last ditch effort. Like, what are we going to do? Managed to borrow 15 grand off Mum and Dad and 150 from my grandma for 30 days.
For 30 days?
So, well, 30 days after settlement, she said. She's like, I don't really need it, but I want to give you, like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to just give it to you forever. I want it back, and
Yeah.
I want to go travelling as well. So that's what she's saying. She's 85 and
That's awesome.
getting on the back of motorbikes and stuff. But yeah, so we had a bit of a deadline. So we fully gutted it out, got the finance, got it all sorted. And
That's awesome that you problem solved there. So many people would just be like, nah.
lost the money, and yeah.
Rather than just being like, I'll do whatever it takes.
So we borrowed the money, had roughly a month to try to refinance the house, and we pretty much
We just working like 14-hour days plus.
Oh, at least, yeah. So I was working full time from 7 till 4, and then I'd drive straight to the house, work from 4 till 10 every night. Maybe later, the neighbour was hating us.
Imagine.
Just getting all this work done at 10 o'clock at night. She was a jockey or worked down at the racecourse too, so she was up at 3 or 4 in the morning, so she was not impressed.
Yeah, you should have been like, well, you're waking us up early, so.
We got the cops called on us a couple of times for noise violations. But 33 days later, we moved the kitchen to the other end of the house, knocked out 4 or 5 internal walls, added a deck, painted inside and out, polished floorboards, added a bathroom, moved the laundry, redid the gardens, front fences, side fences, everything. We flipped this house, working after hours, the two of us, plus my brother, and one other guy that he'd work every now and then on a few days. But yeah, that was big. That was 9 cups of coffee a day, sort of sort of tired. I was having a coffee before I went into the shower, then I had a coffee while I was having brekkie, and then I had a coffee on the way to work.
Should have just had a coffee in the shower.
Yeah, well, 3 coffees down before 6:45.
What was it that made you just do that, not pull the pin?
Stubbornness, probably.
Good.
Like, once I set myself a goal, it's very hard not to do it. Probably money as well. Like, I'm quite financially driven in lots of ways.
Thanks, all. I think everyone listening to this loves money.
Yeah.
I think everyone likes money. Anyone who says they don't like money,
are poor.
yeah, are poor.
Really. And then it's like, oh, I've given up. I don't like money.
Yeah, because when I didn't have money, I was like, fuck rich people.
Yeah.
It was projecting the stuff that I was really angry at myself for not having. But then when you, once again, keep integrity with it, but like, it's good having money.
Yeah.
For a good quality of life, it just allows you time to do what you want and choice.
What is money?
Nothing. It's a fucking exchange of value.
And why does everyone bust their ass for it then?
Well, I don't think it's the money they bust their ass for. It's what they think you can give them.
Yeah.
This is the biggest challenge I've probably spoken about on the last 4 consecutive podcasts.
Yes.
Is,
I haven't listened to the last few.
oh, fuck, what are you doing? Is the understanding once you get a certain amount of money, like, why am I chasing more? Because the biggest challenge I've got is I was just doing my work, my diary for next week, and like, I don't, apart from Thursday, I don't see clients after, I think 12:30 is the latest. Then Fridays are fully off apart from the Strong Men of Value call, which is 6 a.m. So the hardest part is me going, okay, just have the day off.
Yeah.
Rather than being like, oh, I'll punch out a few more podcasts, or I'll create content, or I'll do something else. And like, just fucking chill.
Says us on a Sunday.
Yeah. This is a Sunday. But that's the challenge that people are working because they think money is going to give them something that more often than not they won't enjoy majority of it anyway, because we're not present.
Yeah.
We're always thinking about, fuck, if I spend this money on the holiday, which is what I was saving for anyway, then I'm going to come back and potentially be in debt, or I'm going to be stressed for this, that and the other. It's like, wow. What's money from your perspective?
What is money?
Should have just said I was right.
Yeah. I just agree with everything you just said.
Thank you.
Money is what extinguishes debt. So, money is just debt, really. It's an IOU on something that you want.
Yeah, well, wasn't it created because, like, originally we would trade bread for apples?
Yeah, and then as soon as you get 3 people, you get 3 people in a trade, and you're like, well, actually, I don't want apples.
Yeah.
I've got the bread. I don't want apples.
I want the butter.
I want what he's got.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want bread.
Yeah.
So they have to come up with a value of what each thing is worth in regards to everything else. So you go, well, I'll give you this, and at a later date you will owe me bread.
Yep.
If that makes sense.
It's so interesting.
Yeah. And then you got to make it something scarce. Like at the moment, it's a piece of
timber,
plastic.
Yeah, timber's fucking expensive.
It's a plasticky sort of coloured note.
Oh, we're talking about
money.
I was like,
what is expensive?
Something scarce. I was like, flights are scarce at the moment.
Yeah.
Timber's scarce.
Well, the shells, and you're like, well, the shells scarce.
Yeah.
Unless you're at the beach. You live in the desert, you might.
Well, then even, depending on the time of the year back in the day, apples were scarce, like fruit was scarce.
It probably still should be.
Yeah. Well,
Probably should not be eating it out of season.
Well, that is.
You spend more money on something that's an inferior product.
Yeah, segue, because like even with your gut health, we should be eating seasonally. But people get all their, glutards or gluten and all that sort of stuff, because we're just eating the same stuff all year round. So you need some variety in your diet purely to allow the microbiomes to continually.
You ever tried to eat avocados out of season?
They're hard.
And they cost like 4 times as much.
Yeah.
You're like, what are you doing?
It's
Wait till they're in season.
$12 an avocado.
And eat them for like $1.
It's fucking crazy. Or just grow an avocado tree.
Take some time.
We used to have one at Granddad's at Pars. It was awesome. I didn't like avocado then, but it's only since I moved into Newstead and I like a smashed avo.
Oh yeah.
But prior to that, I couldn't really care for it.
Anything around James Street.
Yeah.
Avocado.
You should check out the new IGA at Kangaroo Point. It's unreal.
I drove past last night.
Did you see the story I put up? Like they have all the dry aged meats and like literally be a 10-meter long wall of all these cheeses, wheels, and everything.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's crazy. Anyway, back to our money and it being a paper note. Like that's what it is.
Yeah. Well, and it's something that the government just assigns worth to in a way. We obviously assign worth to it as well, but they're printing it into oblivion and still saying it's worth the same.
Yeah.
So you keep working.
Yeah. It would be like if you're in a village of 100 people and you've got I'm making this up on the spot, you've got 50 loaves of bread and 50 apples, there's an equal exchange value if they're wanted by 50 people. 100% of them will be gone. But then all of a sudden a big truck rocks up with 1,000 apples, but you've still only got 50 pieces of bread, which is worth more. Did that make sense?
Yeah, the bread becomes a way better exchange.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you could trade one loaf of bread for 50 apples. That's why this is blowing my mind.
It's like my screensaver. It says, the trouble with selling your labour is that your labour has no long-term residual value.
It's interesting, because I still think when I was a chippy, and you're getting paid X amount an hour, and it was always like, when you wanted to save something, save up for something, the only way I thought was, how can I get overtime?
Yeah.
And not just, like, I want the overtime hours. Even when I was at Glassy, it was like or working in the bar, from like 10 till 12, it would go up to like 25 an hour, then from 12 till 2, it would be 27, and then from 2 till whatever, 4, it'd be $30 an hour, and you're like, fuck yeah, I'm doing that. As much as it would just destroy your soul. But then you start straight back again the next day.
Yeah, as soon as that hour's gone, you can't get someone else to buy it.
That's what I think the way you think and the way I think as well, the biggest change for me was, how can I, one, increase my hourly wage by making myself more valuable, so making myself the 1,000 apples as opposed to,
the 50
loaves of bread as opposed to 1,000 apples. Like, when I was a chippy, there's 1,000 chippies.
Yeah.
But there's not many, project managers or whatever. There is probably, but chippies. Yeah, they look after that, right? So then, but then it's also thinking, once I did that, even with my business now, I think, well, how do I have things working for me and ticking over why I'm still not doing things? That's why we got the programs and the breakthrough experience, because they're awesome, but people can just buy them and do them in their own pace. I'm not involved.
Yeah.
And so, because that's how you start getting whether it's intellectual property or if you have staff or whatever it is to work, get your money. That's not really money working for you, but it's getting working without working.
It's a passive.
Yeah. And every time you get an email going, someone's purchased, you're like, cool.
It's a 10 hours at the start.
Yeah.
Is now paying you
fucking way more.
Infinite amount of hours in the future.
Yeah. There's 36 hours worth of content in there, guys. Get on it. It's 36 hours plus.
I was selling you short.
Yeah. 10 hours, yeah. But yeah, how do you get that? And that's where I think this is such a random segue, but even like the what are they called? The bloody CMF unions.
Yep.
I'm talking from tradies' perspective, because when I used to be a tradie, I'd hate, and I can understand why people march because they want an extra 25 cents an hour or whatever, but to me that's not taking like responsibility. I get that we're taking a stand for something, but if you were really taking a stand for something, make yourself more fucking valuable. Do you think I wouldn't pay you more for taking a day off to just rage?
Close down the entire site.
Yeah, show me your work ethic. Show me your continual upskilling. Like, what are you working on to make yourself more valuable to the company?
I end up doing less.
Yeah,
For more.
It's such a. It just fucking annoys me.
Yeah.
It's just laziness. So I've always, because once again I was in that position. You probably were when you were thinking that way. It's like, how do I get more money? How do I get $30 an hour without having to work more? But you're like, it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
Now I just need to make myself more valuable. And it always helps when you're doing something that you love. So if you don't enjoy what you're doing, consider changing.
At the moment, I'm building a house, which in theory I don't like doing. I don't like being a carpenter.
Yeah.
But I bought the place with the same guy I bought the houses in Warrnambool with.
Yeah.
And he's now up here as well in Noosa.
Everyone's leaving Warrnambool. What's wrong with it?
It's cold. I told you, it's cold. It's and locked down. So it's better up here.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't really like being a carpenter and find it incredibly tedious. But what I'm doing now is instead of working for $35 an hour for someone or $40 an hour, I bought the house, I'm doing it up, and I can sell it off, and what I've worked out at the moment, it's probably about $500 an hour.
Yeah, which is beautiful.
And there are ways of still committing your labour into something that changes the value of your time.
Yeah, well,
yeah,
it's 100%. Like, and every single person can do it. It's just hard at the start. Like, how do I do it? How do I upskill? What does it look like? How do I become more efficient in the time spent versus the return on investment? But that's where people get stuck, is because so many of us are, grinding hard to just make ends meet. And I remember doing that for fucking ages. But that's where, as you mentioned, even working on that first property, going from 4 till 10, most people won't do that.
Yeah, go home watching Netflix.
They'll go home watch Netflix or have a few beers to just minimise the stress. It's like, the only way you're going to be able to actually change something is you have to make a sacrifice somewhere to work fucking harder.
Yeah.
And
it was tough at the time, and I don't recommend it to everyone or many people at all. It was a very big strain on the relationship, on everything. It was tough. Like,
I don't think you can ever be prepared for just how much strain. Like, you can hear, obviously, you saying that, but how it plays out individually is completely different.
Yeah, well, obviously not with that girl anymore, but
I'd hope not.
But
whoever's listening to this,
I'm definitely not.
Yeah.
And like, she would come and bring dinner.
Yep.
And that would be the 30 minutes of the day I would see it.
Yeah.
For a whole month straight. Like, I was in the same town.
Yeah.
We lived together, and I didn't see it. Like, literally, she would turn up on weekends. She might come and do something in the garden to help out for, I don't know, 2 hours.
Yeah.
That was it. There was a time where we went and had a family lunch or something on the Sunday afternoon at like 3 o'clock until 5. I was there, and it went from 3 till
whatever
10 at night. And in those 2 hours, I felt so guilty I wasn't at work because the other guy was still there.
Yeah. We sending him Snapchats of the last food.
I think I bought him back something, but it was, I don't know, I just get this sense of obligation, I suppose.
Yeah.
When you've got someone else that is still putting in the same work as you, and he did it probably harder because he had a 8-month-old, 6-month-old. Chloe was not happy.
Yeah.
that was probably really tough for her.
Yep. I still always think that everyone is sacrificing something in some way, but it's just working out what the sacrifice is for. Like, that's, in my eyes, it's short-term sacrifice for long-term gain. My short-term sacrifice has been on for years. I'm not just telling you. I'm still waiting for the break.
If I hadn't have done that, there's absolutely no way I would have been able to get the house up here.
Yeah.
Like, no chance. And then from that, selling this one in August.
Yep.
If I don't do that, I won't be able to build the house back in Warrnambool.
Yeah. Are you going to go down there for that, or no?
No, too cold. Nah, I'll go down and have a look at it.
Yep.
I won't be working hands on.
Yep.
We'll get all the other guys. Still got 3 guys working down there for him. So
Yep.
just use those guys.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Get them doing it in the cold.
Yeah.
Why? Where were we? We were in Thailand. We went to that, buying the house when you got back.
Yeah.
How'd you get up to Brisbane?
That is probably the next step in the story, I suppose. So I moved in to the house that I first bought with my parents when I was 19.
Yep.
I did that up while I was living in there, pulled out walls, put a new kitchen in, the whole shebang.
The whole shebang.
That's pretty much game plan. Remove walls and new kitchen, new bathrooms.
Yep.
Finished that and got a housemate in there, and we both decided that we loved getting high. It was probably the downfall of the situation.
High on what?
Weed.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
just for everyone else that there wasn't a glass
Yeah.
barbie or anything.
No, nothing super
Hardcore
yeah, few plants. But
natural medicines.
yeah, it was sort of a bit of a downhill spiral from moving in there to 8 months later, I suppose, smoking
the house.
pretty much, smoking like an ounce of weed a week between the two of us, which...
How big is an ounce? Like if someone were, like compared to an iPhone, this is an iPhone, whatever, 11, 12, and it's not the max. The big one.
Cut or in buds?
Fuck man, buds.
In buds, probably get like a sandwich bag, and probably 2/3 full.
So that's pretty much a sandwich with the crust cut off.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wild. That's a lot of weed.
28 grams. $300 worth
A week.
a week between us.
It wouldn't have been good for the mortgage repayments.
No, it wasn't. It was, well, I wasn't doing anything else. Well, actually, I was. We were probably
Were you
drinking.
eating more? To get the munchies? Or
Yeah, a
the
bit,
munchies?
yeah. But we were also drinking a lot of red at the same time.
What, so you just fucking, were you smoking bongs or tinnies or just joints?
I've got timber pipe. Had a timber pipe.
Show me that, yeah.
And yeah, we'd just smoke out of that. I would smoke totally green, like no tobacco. But the other guy
Did
would.
you have a jet lighter or something? Or just a normal lighter?
Just a normal lighter.
Yep.
Yeah. We're not trying to teach you how to do this, but
I'm just interested in
but yeah, so we were just smoking, come home from work at 4, smoke till 9, 10 at night, go to bed, wake up.
How do you feel during all this? Like, because I know there's a lot
Like a
of people
zombie.
who love smoking hooch to go to bed. For me, I haven't touched weed for fucking whatever, but it doesn't help me sleep. I feel like anxious as all.
Oh, no, I sleep well.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So I would do, I'd get up in the morning and just be wrecked. Like, we were drinking a couple of bottles of red a night between us. So like,
You guys would have been the picture of health. That
Oh
whole,
my
That whole
God.
fitness trip with ACEA.
yeah. So this was 2018? 18? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so, 2018. And probably one of the biggest wake up calls was leaving Hamilton in the afternoon. So it's about 100 k's north west of Warrnambool.
Yep.
Working up there for the day, leaving the town, pretty much the only way you can get back to Warrnambool. And they're setting up a drug bus. And I'm heading towards it, the lights are on, cones are getting set out, or are out.
What, the cones you were smoking or the cones?
The big orange
Witches
witches hats were set up, and I'm just driving straight towards it, can't do anything, going, I'm going to be totally fucked here. Like, I'll lose my license, I'm travelling 100 k's for work a day, each way. I needed my license. Like, I was doing insurance work, so I was like going assessing jobs and doing all this stuff, and I was like driving towards it, and just going, fuck, I'm done. I don't feel high or anything. Like, I'm not putting people's lives in danger, but it's still in the blood. It lasts like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
There's no way I would even contemplate passing that thing. And they pushed me through and stopped the car behind me.
Mate, that's when I lost my license, just for being a shit driver, really. But when I was still driving because I needed to for work. And I remember when they were doing vehicle inspections, just like near the range there, and I got pulled over and he started talking, and then this piece of shit was coming behind me. He's like, "Oh mate, you go, we need to get this car." And I was like, "Oh, thank God." This is great, but we obviously don't condone that sort of stuff. We were young and dumb.
Yeah.
And now we're not.
Yes. So
We're
long
old
ago.
and dumb. Yeah, old and dumb.
Yeah, that was a pretty big wake up call. And I definitely slowed down. I didn't stop smoking, but I didn't nearly smoke as much as I was. And then that was probably July, August.
Yep.
Probably July. And then within like 3 weeks, I was sitting at a friend's place who now actually live up at Parisian.
Yeah.
and I live with during the week while I'm renovating this house. But went around there and I'm like, guys, like something needs to change. I don't know what I'm doing with my life. Like, look at me. High, drunk, still working quite efficiently, I presume. I don't know. Like, maybe I wasn't.
Function. Yeah.
I in my head I thought I was working.
Were you smoking pot at work or just at home?
No, just at home.
I was gonna say, imagine swinging a hammer stoned.
Just with a joint outside the mouth.
No, you'd end up having your hand pinned to a bloody stud.
Not good. I needed a change and didn't know what. And Meg, who one of my mates and the guy I travelled with overseas.
Yep.
He has been with her for the last sort of 5 years, and
Cav.
Knew them both individually before they got together, and then now it's great. Two friends that are together. So Meg being Meg, just saying, well, what are you gonna do? What's gonna change? She's very much like you, I suppose, in that situation. She's like, well, let's do something about it.
Proactive.
I had my laptop in the car, pulled it out, changed a resume that I had from about 4 or 5 years earlier, emailed it off on the Thursday night to half a dozen places in Brisbane because
Why Brisbane?
it was warm.
Fair.
Mostly because it was warm. I knew a few people.
Yep.
One of the guys I worked with in Canada, in the pizza shop I was working in on the mountain, lives at Eden's Hill. And my auntie.
I thought you were working at the pizza shop in Warrnambool. I was like, smoking dope, working at the pizza shop. Just painted an image in my head.
Nah. This was me smoking dope and skiing and working in a pizza shop in Canada. But I moved. My auntie and uncle live here as well.
Yep.
In Brisbane. So, and had come up here a lot as a kid.
Yep.
And if I was going to live in a city, it was going to be Brisbane. And what's the biggest change from moving from a cold town of 30,000 is to move to a city that's warm of a couple of million. So put in a few building supervisor roles, probably inspector, supervisor roles for insurance companies because I'd pretty much been doing that work beforehand. And got on Thursday, I put them in, didn't hear anything Friday. Monday morning, 2 phone calls from the 2 I applied for. One in the valley. One in the valley and one at Maree. They said, this is Monday, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock.
Yep.
Can you come in tomorrow and have an interview? Me not putting my Warrnambool address on, putting my mate's address at Eden's Hill. As my location. And I'm like, can we make it Wednesday? I'm booked out tomorrow, I'm flat out, like Wednesday would be ideal. No. Oh yeah, that'll work, sure, why not? So get off the phone, book a flight to Brisbane, 3-hour drive to the airport, so get up the next morning and drive down.
From Warrnambool to Melbourne.
Yeah, park at the airport, jump on a flight, come up here and go and stay at my mate's place at Eden's Hill for a couple of nights. Stupidly booked a flight back for Thursday night.
Yep.
After Tuesday, back Thursday. Because I was going to work Friday.
Yep.
2 of them got back to me on the Wednesday. One of them got back to me on the Wednesday to say, can you come in for a second interview? Oh yeah, fine. Friday afternoon. I was already meant to be back in Warrnambool. I'm like, damn it, what have I done? Why was I so stupid? So obviously just stayed and booked another flight back Saturday. But I ended up sitting at the Pig and Whistle on Brunswick Street waiting for my appointment.
Yep.
Having some lunch and had grabbed a beer. And
before the
interview, just get rid of the nerves. And sitting there having a steak singer and get a phone call from the one that didn't want a second interview to say, oh, congratulations, you've got the job at Maree.
Fuck.
And I was like, oh, thanks so much. Just send through what you need me to sign, and I'll get back to you straight away. Walked into this one, 15 minutes later, I just go to him. To be honest, I got the job at John Sling at Murray. As I was walking in. So I'd really appreciate it if you could get back to me pretty much now if I got the job or not. And they just looked at each other and said, yeah, you can start. When can you start? This being the Friday afternoon, can you start Monday? I'm like, not really, I'm flying back to Melbourne tomorrow to drive back to Warrnambool. Everything's over 2,000 kilometres away. Well, better get packing. So I put everything, flew home, packed my stuff, had a garage sale the next day on Sunday from me being back, and then sorted out a couple of things, got the car on Wednesday and drove up, got here Thursday afternoon.
And then started the
And
following.
started on the Monday.
Bloody hell.
Yeah. So it was like I need to change my life. 2 weeks later, I had changed everything. Every single part of my life had changed. I moved 2,000 Ks, got off the tools, different role. Chose the one on Brunswick Street as a job, the second one. Mostly because Johnson's cars are bright yellow, and the other guys had these brand new.
See, branding is everything.
Yeah, that was great. Also, they were in Brunswick Street in the valley, and I thought, well, I have no idea where I want to live in Brisbane, so let's work in the centre, and I can live wherever I want.
Yeah.
So I moved in with a mate, Eaton's Hill, for 5 weeks, and ended up moving into the valley.
Yep. Benny.
Yeah. Picked the gym closest to work, jumped on Google Maps and just went, alright, where's 500 metres from work? What gyms are in that location? Apparently about 700 in the valley.
Rolling the dice.
And I found one that was pretty much the same as the gym I had back in Warrnambool, which was functional. And then, went in there. You held my hand and took me around.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
And the rest is history. Met Emma there and haven't looked back. It's been good.
Crazy.
Yeah. Didn't stay at the job for long, but because I was only there for about 4 months.
Yeah.
Maybe not even.
Didn't like it.
No. It was something about running 70 jobs over 250,000 kilometres was probably not exactly what I wanted to do in a laid back, warm, beachy lifestyle.
No.
Yeah.
Like that.
So.
How'd you get into crypto?
How did I get into crypto? Listening to other podcasts. So I think you pretty much got me into listening to podcasts. I never listened to a podcast before I moved up here.
And then you got hooked on this one.
Got hooked on the Man Can project. Wasn't called that at the start.
No, it's called Lucky Stewart or some shit.
Yeah.
For those who've listened to the early ones, you'll see had George make me about 3 intros now.
Yeah.
I think it was Welfare, yeah.
Something like that.
Anyway.
But got into listening to that one. A couple other sort of positive men's lifestyle, self-development sort of stuff. And it grew. And then on London Real, they had one of the biggest...
Do you still listen to it?
No,
he fucking lost the plot.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing at the moment. Brian Rose. Got an email from him this morning for some reason. Hadn't had anything for a year, or 12 months probably. And he's doing some more crypto stuff, I think. But he had one of the biggest scam artists ever, Tika Tawari, as a guest, who just shills companies with no real foundation.
Really?
Yeah. And he was some Wall Street guy for years, and Tika Tawari.
Tawari?
Yeah, that's him. Yeah. He's gets right into some crypto, like shills all these products, but obviously has bought in well and truly early and has got a following, and he sort of pushes it out on them.
Yeah.
Not to say that he's totally corrupt or anything, but I think he makes quite a bit of money off it. he has like investment newsletters and stuff like that as well,
Yeah,
which
right.
I haven't really looked into. But he was talking about the 5 coins to $5 million was one of those catchy, let's get out of building momentum
Yeah.
things. And I was back on the tools after leaving the supervising role. I was sort of a foreman / on the tools leading hand type role.
Oh yeah, this is just stressy, hey?
Yeah, doing some amazing houses and shop fit outs and stuff.
Yeah.
That the hours were just not great, and again, you can't sell your labour twice, and it was really getting to me. And I don't like working for people either.
No,
I think that's my
yeah,
I don't know if it's a downfall or a positive, but I just can't do it.
depending on like if there's employers that give you freedom of role and support, like that's awesome, but most of them don't.
Yeah.
Well, in my experience.
Yeah, they want their business to be how they want it,
Yeah.
even though you know you think you can do it better.
Well, generally that's why you employ people, because they should be able to do that role better than you.
Yeah, but it doesn't always end up like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, so he came up, like I was sort of in a rut again. I think if I was in the same headspace as what I was in Victoria, or if I was in Victoria with the same headspace, I'd probably be back smoking billies and stuff.
Yeah.
But I had a pretty good base around me, and it wasn't. But I was just getting run down and over all that.
Yep.
And needed a way out. But why not learn about investing, and it's not you're straight off the tools and you're straight into.
Why not? That's what everyone thinks.
Oh yeah, well,
Fuck, it does my head in when people.
it's a long-term view.
The invest to invest is the greatest thing I ever learned about investing.
Yeah.
Like, people just go, such and such said this, or I watched this video, and you're like, can you explain it to me? No, but they said it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make millions.
Well, Elon said Dogecoin's going to $1 million. Maybe.
I would trust that. No. Still don't. You still gotta do due diligence.
And then it falls, and they start crying and tweeting to Elon to say, "Please tweet about Dogecoin.
Yeah.
I need it to go up again. I put all my life savings in it." And you're like,
That's once again just
You're
not
an idiot.
taking ownership for your
Yeah.
fucking life.
yeah, just wait for someone else to tell you what to do.
Yeah.
And that's not me. I can't get an employer to tell me what to do. So I'm not going to let some
YouTube.
tell me what to do.
Unless you're listening to this podcast.
I'll take advice,
Yeah.
but I won't just go, oh, he said this, it's got to be true.
Yeah. Reassess it.
Look over it.
Yeah.
Probably the worst
Come to your own
4
conclusion.
words, do your own research.
Because it requires.
You need to do it, but it's the caveat to say, I'm not responsible for this.
Yeah.
But so I was listening to all these self-development podcasts, and I was listening to 8 hours a day, just with headphones in at work. Had earmuffs on or whatever, so you can't hear anything anyway. Might as well listen to something that's going to inform me and make me smarter.
Yep.
Hopefully. And
Did.
well,
Just.
I moved from the self-help into the investment macroeconomic crypto world, I suppose. And there's a lot of it out there if you start looking.
It's fucking wild. Well, even the amount of podcasts that you send me and stuff, there's so much information.
I would send you
And so many opposing
2%.
so many opposing views, which is good to listen to all of them, I think, because it helps you inform your own decision based around your beliefs and everything like that. So don't just. One of the biggest things that I learned was like, don't just listen to stuff that already supports your beliefs and views. Like, it's obviously awesome to know that, high five yourself, but you need to take a holistic, not even holistic one. That's got nothing to do with investing, but
Probably the best thing you could do, which is very hard to do, find a friend who is also.
settle down.
No, just find a friend, that's the hardest thing to do.
Yeah.
Find a friend that you can trust and that is somewhat knowledgeable in the same topics as you, say in investing, and say you love a certain project or a certain business or whatever, and you feel like that is going to be the winner. Get them to defend it and you to attack it as much as you can. You try to find every weakness in that project and get the other person to say what the positives are,
Yep.
and then you may or may not want to invest in it.
Yeah. Interesting.
It's the hardest. It's tough to do because you get this old like cognitive bias of just.
It's funny we were talking about that. You sent me a video on it yesterday. There's a great book, 48 Laws of Power.
Oh, you've got it.
Well, yeah, I do have it. I read it. It's fucking intense. There it is.
That might be my next one.
It is a hard. It's deceiving because it's not that thick, but the pages literally go from edge to edge, and the font is tiny. So you're just like, holy shit! I'm going to be here for 4 years. It's really good, but it's just a mind fuck.
Yeah.
Like, anyway, segue.
Yeah. So you can get yourself into a vortex of self-fulfilling, whatever you want to know.
That's what people would do with everything.
Oh yeah.
Anything they read, you can Google something that will validate that belief.
Yeah. And then because you've Googled it, Facebook pushes ads to reaffirm that you
see everyone else is doing it.
Yeah. It's like the pizza thing.
Yeah.
The people trafficking kids in pizza in basement pizza stores. And this or flat earth or whatever. And you start looking into it.
Come on, flat earth. Really?
Yeah, well, I don't know, I've never seen The Edge.
Yeah, oh yeah. Guess I got crazy. Anyway, if there's any flat earthers listening here,
ring in, let us know.
Yeah, hit me up. I'd love to have you on the show because I find that very fascinating.
Yeah. It's just so yes, try to.
So, what advice would you give to even yourself, but people out there? Because there is so many people who want to improve their situations, and obviously the self-help mindset stuff is awesome. A big part in helping you change your perspectives, deal with risk management, understand your own psyche better. But then even from the investing point of view, a lot of people don't know where to start. And also, my biggest thing is, I was saying to a guy the other day who's just putting all this money in crypto. And I was like, can you tell me about that? Because he was telling me to get it, and I was like, can you tell me about it? I was like, alright, so why are you investing in it? Because my mate's doing it. I'm like, yeah, but are your mates giving you money to invest, or you're the one working for your money?
Yeah.
You're trading time for money currently, and you're just happy to fucking throw a Hail Mary?
Yeah.
It's silly, in my opinion.
It is. And I think if you can't explain it to your grandma, then don't invest in it.
I shouldn't be investing in anything.
Which your grandma is the hardest one. If you're talking crypto and trying to explain it to your grandma, whew, they don't even know what a computer is.
Yeah. Sometimes what?
Yeah. So I feel like you have to know it to a point. I'm happy to put in, say, $200 into something, and then because you've got money in it, you start to learn about it more.
Yeah.
But once you start putting like a significant portion of percentage of your wage or whatever you're investing, then you need to know it.
Yeah.
Like you just can't. Like even now, would you get to say Tesla? If you're investing in Tesla, what are you investing in? A car company,
or a battery company,
or a battery company, or are you investing in the future of self-driving cars that will replace people driving anywhere, and they'll have their own fleet that will just drop you like an Uber. So Tesla will be the new Uber of self-driving cars. They own them all, and you just pay Tesla.
That's
like,
I love
it. That's why I think that's what people are seeing in the future. They're not going with their profits at the moment. They're looking at in 5 years' time to say, or maybe sooner, maybe I don't know, to say, well, people probably won't need to own cars.
I agree. I remember listening to a podcast with the founder of Lyft, which is like another Uber. And his vision for Lyft is people don't need to own cars. You don't need to have cars parked on the side of the roads, which so much congestion comes from that. It's just cars are continually going around. You get in, you get out. It's a shared economy, which is, I think it's fucking unreal.
How much do you think the property prices in the city would drop when 30% of the city at the moment is car park, would be removed and turned into
small
office or apartments or whatever?
It'd be interesting whether it goes offices because people are working more remotely now.
Mm.
Yeah, but even apartments, 100%. There's
But then why would you want to live in there when something can take you to where you want to go? Not someone, just a car will come and
jump in.
take you there.
It's interesting.
And then do block sizes get smaller or do houses get bigger on the block because you don't need a garage?
Yeah, true. You just have home gyms. Then
Yeah.
we solve another problem of poor health.
Yeah. So it's a cascading effect, but that's pretty much Tesla. Like you're not buying it because they sold X amount of cars this month. You're pretty much buying it because their projection in 5 years' time is not just be a car company.
Yeah.
It's to be.
Well, do you think it's like investing in a kid? Like if you had a kid, you believe in it because they're your fucking kid. You want to know everything that's going on in their life, and you want to hope or believe that everything you're doing is to have a good ROI. And ROI from a kid, you want them playing tennis or something. No. You don't want to make money from
Golf.
the kids,
Golf.
but just a good kid. Like even if it's not, it might make you an extra. I'm talking about Tesla now, but it might increase by 25% over the next 20 years or whatever. It's a good ROI. But even from the fact that you have a kid that is, whatever traits you want them to develop, like that's a good ROI. But do you actually believe in it? Because even if the money, I don't know what you spend on kids, probably $200,000. Too much over their lifetime. But you get an ROI because of the person they develop into. Just like when you invest in a company, what it develops into, rather than always being. Obviously, want to make profit, but
Well, that's good. Bit of a segue there. Have you heard of Astra?
Zeneca?
No. It's Astra is Elon Musk's new school.
What?
So he's
In space?
on Earth at the moment, but yes,
What
it's
is it?
he has looked at the schooling system.
Yep.
And said, I'm not sending my kids to anything like that. So he has gone out and found the best business coaches and sales guys and that teach people how to do it, and have now.
Why hasn't he hit me up yet?
Wow,
It's obviously not the best.
you just haven't got the right email address up.
yeah, I've got the wrong old email.
Yeah, but he's so he's built a whole school where kids are going for certain amount of hours a day, like after school sort of stuff, mostly at the moment, and teaching them all different like negotiation and
That's
just
awesome.
problem solving mostly.
To think for themselves.
Yeah, to become
To undo all the shit that we get.
that schools get teaching, and he put their kids up against MIT graduates,
And they nailed them.
and they beat them in like so many different facets.
And you think about the compound of that knowledge and understanding though, like
At 12.
yeah, by the time they're 20, they're going to be like super geniuses.
Yeah.
Because they've been doing it for 8 years already.
Like, if I had a kid, Elon would get hit up. Definitely.
Elon's going to hit me up for my kids.
Yeah,
Maybe like send them to the school.
I would definitely be jumping
Yeah.
on that train.
I'm very interested in that because there's a lot of things I believe that have helped my life that we didn't learn at school, didn't get taught, and I don't know what the education system's like since I've left. I've been out for 12 years now.
It hasn't changed in 150 years. It's probably not going to change in the last 12.
12, yeah.
It's
There's some things that need to. I've been wanting to pull these out for like the last 5 podcast episodes.
ooh,
I'm going to answer one. So this is a Lululemon Movember collaboration of beer cards, but they also start good conversations while you're sipping on a kombucha or.
watch my mind just go blank the second you ask this question.
Yeah, that one's too deep. Oh, let's do this one.
As what you didn't change it.
No, I know. I was like, I can't just pick one that I want to answer. I've got to just do the first one that I pull out. Think of 3 people who've had a big impact on your life. Reflect what they've taught you. Reflect on what they've taught you.
Oh. Okay. The first one comes to mind is someone I've never even met, which is kind of weird.
This is awesome. This could be anyone then.
Yeah.
Anyone listening, this might be you. Hang on to your seats.
Yeah, his name's Nick Black.
Oh yeah,
Which
crypto and coffee.
Yeah. So it's probably not the most awe-inspiring name of a channel, but his way of teaching people not just crypto but macroeconomics and cognitive biases and just the way you should think because other people think this way.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that you're thinking the same as what that person is thinking. It just means you know you're expecting an outcome because you know what they would think.
Yeah.
So you could jump in front of it.
Manipulation, really. Like when you think like the 48 laws of power gives you the bad side of understanding a lot of these principles, but also the good side.
Yeah.
And a lot of us probably don't want to learn them because we're like, oh, that's just manipulation. But if it can help create better outcomes for people, if you use it in a good way.
Yeah, some people don't know what they need.
100%.
So if you can
All the
manipulate
people
it,
who aren't listening to this podcast don't know that they should be.
yeah, definitely. So if you can find a way that's helping you and them,
Yeah.
and they can't see it, but you can subtly suggest or tell them what they need
Yeah.
to hear to make their life better,
Yeah.
but also benefit you. That's not a bad thing,
It's a brilliant thing.
but it's manipulation. And you're like, manipulation's bad, but it's not. It's just
No.
just a way to help people understand what they need to know.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Who's the second?
You've had a pretty big impact.
I'll take that.
Yeah. I've listened. Oh,
I was about to say we're ending this episode. You didn't say that. I'd be like, and 4? Do you want a 4th?
Yeah. Obviously, I was in a pretty bad sort of headspace before I moved up here. And I think with you being one of the first people I met up here has definitely changed my outlook on most things. Yeah, and probably not knowing that you've done as much as you have because you haven't like personally sat down one-on-one like you do with a lot of other people. Yeah. I sit down and listen to a lot of things, go to a lot of those men's circles that you've done in the past and listened and seen other people grow.
Probably learned a lot of things not to do, like work too much.
Yeah, I haven't taken that stem from you. I've managed to do as little as possible to get the best outcome.
Yep.
I think that's what you haven't learned
Oh,
yet.
fuck no. God no. Who's the third person?
The third person. My parents probably. They sort of knew what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
But I think it's nearly exactly Rich Dad Poor Dad. My parents knew what they needed to invest and do. They've bought property for the last, I don't know, 2 decades more. I think they had an idea they needed to do something.
Yep.
But didn't put the effort in to learn exactly what they needed to do.
Yep.
Relied on a lot of other people to tell them.
Yep.
And that definitely taught me to not do that.
Yep.
But we talked money and talked a lot of things growing up that
most people don't.
most people don't. It's usually a stressful, taboo topic at the table.
I was going to say subject because it's stressful taboo subject.
And yeah, it wasn't at home. It was very much, we can't afford to do that because of this and this, but we can do we went overseas pretty much every year. Through Asia, and just backpacked through, and in that stage we would keep a diary of every day, but we would also keep a budget of what we spent.
Cool.
So in my diary, I would have a list of every single thing we bought for the day, from bottle of water to accommodation to bus tickets to some souvenir. And I, just loving numbers, would track everything and add it up at each week. And we're doing it real cheap, and our budget for the 4 of us was $100 a day, not including flights.
Yep.
But we would do $100 a day for the 4 people. We would backpack through Malaysia, Vietnam, Thailand as a 8 and 10-year-old. My brother's 2 years younger, and I would track everything. And then at the end of the 3 weeks or 4 weeks we were away, I would add it all up and divide it by the amount of days and see if we're under budget.
That's so cool.
And I remember we got back after 4 weeks in Vietnam and we spent $99.58 on average a day.
That's one meal here.
Yeah. So we were under,
Yeah.
we made it under the budget.
Did you throw a party for that?
Yeah, we went out and spent, 42 cents each for the 28 days.
$4.20 just get a Big Mac.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Spent more on the bus to get back from the airport to get the car.
It's true. One last question for you. What's your definition of being a man? The hardest question all day.
Yeah. Definition of being a man. Being strong enough to take responsibility for your actions and to help those around you, but also being sensitive enough to listen and take note of what people are asking of you.
That's deep.
That just rolled off the tongue.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm golden starting, I don't know where it's going, but it's,
direct.
I feel like that's, an equal balance of strength and softness.
I like it. Yin and yang.
Yeah.
But that's us for today, ladies and gentlemen. So remember, if you're watching on YouTube or listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or whatever you listen, hit the follow button, share it with some mates, because the only way this show grows is by you guys sharing it. So I appreciate every time you do that. And if you want to reach out to Liam, you can find him on...
Not much. I reviewed my socials. So, I don't know, send a pigeon.
Yeah, send a pigeon. Just not going to give you the address because someone might actually do that.
Yeah,
If you want to, well, you're in the Facebook group, the Man Can Facebook group.
And in the circle.
Yeah, in the Strong Man of Value program as well. So if you want to chat with Liam,
I'm in there.
join the program.
Yeah, that's the best one.
Make sure you join it. 100% join it.